average cost for developing a drug is approximately $2 billion. And why site feasibility studies conducted, and why is this site feasible to run a clinical trial? 10% of the delay in the studies is due to patient recruitment. 11% site it fails to enroll a single patient.
Buddy, uncovering opportunities in pharmacy career. Let's learn something new today.
Hi guys, welcome. We are going to talk to a very important topic, that is site feasibility study. If you're done your pharmacy and you're looking to work on site feasibility study, watch this video till end. So this is going to be agenda for today. We are going to look a bit about drug development, and then we try to understand what is site feasibility study, why site feasibility study is conducted and why it is required, how site feasibility study is conducted, what are different types of site feasibility study. And definitely we are going to touch about what could be a possible career after you have completed your pharmacy. So let us take our first topic, that is drug development. See, clinical research serves as a backbone for the modern medicine. What does this mean? It provides a very evidence-based data to support the safety and efficacy of the drug. And an average cost for developing a drug is approximately $2 billion, and it takes almost 10 to 12 years for a drug to get developed. The life science industry is struggling in terms of bringing the medicine faster to the market, of course with a reduced cost. And the success of the clinical trial depends on right investigator, right site selection, of course a patient recruitment on the time. Since pharma company is spending so huge money and there is a timeline pressure, every pharma company wants the site that they select for the clinical trial to be succeed. Therefore, site feasibility become a very important concept when it comes to running the clinical trial. Now let us try to understand what is site feasibility study. See, the name itself suggests, is this site feasible to run a clinical trial? So site feasibility is all about evaluating a possibility of conducting the clinical trial in a particular region, and there is an objective to find out if this trial can be completed in the timeline and the given budget and the given cost. So basically, sponsor is trying to find out, will the trial succeed, or can I do? If I invest so much huge money and the time to a particular site, the sponsor wants the trial to be succeed. This is all about doing a feasibility study. Now, before a trial starts, it is very important to conduct a feasibility study. The question arises, why a site feasibility study is conducted? See, there are several research that has been published why many of the clinical trial fails to meet the patient recruitment, and the data says that 35% of the delay in the studies is due to patient recruitment. Almost 11% site it fails to enroll a single patient, and 70% of the clinical trial experience startup delay. It says that 80% of the trial site fails to meet enrollment timeline, and 45% of the trial cannot meet even completion timeline. That's a very scary data. Therefore, sponsor want that the project should be completed in terms of timeline, target and cost. Now, this is a very heavy number which says why the trials are not succeeded. Now, sponsor is going to put money, sponsor is going to compromise on the timeline, so they want to select a site which is going to be succeed. Now let me take an example so that you understand why site feasibility study is so important. Let us compare this with respect to the home investment feasibility study. See, each one of us has bought a home. We make a huge investment to purchase a home. And many of us goes to the bank to get the loan, and before sanctioning the amount, putting your amount to a particular investment, the banking or yourself do a lot of feasibility study. What do you check? Do you check that the developer who is going to develop the property is a reputed developer or reputed builder? You will say his track history. You will go and check for the testimonials. You will check for their past projects that they have completed. What are feedbacks from the people? What are different types of complaints? what is their financial stability. So when you are putting your hard money for your home, it should not happen that your money is wasted and developer is unable to fulfill your requirement. Imagine the same thing. Pharma company is going to push or pump huge money for running a clinical trial. What if sites are unable to meet it? So definitely the way you are doing a feasibility study, pharma company will also do a feasibility study saying, is this study good for a particular region? Will this hospital able to qualify the trials? Is this hospital has the adequate facility? That is what we will see in the further slides. So try to understand the way you go and purchase a home and you do a lot of feasibility study to ensure that your money is not wasted. Similarly, before the clinical trial proceed, a pharma company has to do a feasibility study to ensure the trial will succeed there in the given timeline and in the cost. So you have seen what is feasibility study, why feasibility study, along with an example that set a context why feasibility study is so important. Now let us see how the feasibility studies are conducted. So there is two ways to conduct a feasibility. One is of course a conventional way. Second is more a data-driven feasibility study. The pharma company itself do not do this feasibility study, but of course they outsource these to. There are several companies in the market who are specialized in performing the feasibility study. But a typical way of doing a feasibility studies are where you shortlist the prospective region and the country, which country you have to run this feasibility study. Then you build a database of a prospective investigator and sites in that region. You develop a list of questions to be answered. The way I explain you will ask the hospital if they handle, say for example, you are running a diabetes trial. So you will ask the hospital, have they undergone or have they supported the diabetes trial before, something like that. Okay, so you will develop a feasibility questionnaire. You will be contacting investigator and site from the preliminary information. You will get a response from the site on the clinical trial feasibility for the question that you have put to them. You will comply all regulatory and procedural details including the timelines, and you will prepare a comprehensive clinical trial feasibility study. This is how a typical feasibility studies are conducted. Time is precious, so every pharma company will not spend the time for running the feasibility study, but definitely they will outsource this to some companies who can perform a feasibility studies for them and bring the result very, very fast on the table. So some of the companies that you see on your screen is Relix Research, and then you have the Wipro, you have SMO, several site management office clinical research, you have IQVIA, and Sightline is also one company which perform site feasibility studies. And most of these companies are moving from a conventional way to a data-driven feasibility study that we can talk in some separate videos to find out how they conduct the feasibility study using the data-driven approach. But in summary, there are several companies who help in running the feasibility study for the pharma company. So in this slide, we are going to understand what are different types of feasibility study. See, feasibility studies are conducted at the three levels. One is at the program level, second is the study level, and third is at the site and investigator level. So the program level feasibility study is basically you're trying to find if a particular program can be conducted in a particular country. Okay, so this is, say for example, a program on antibacterial in variety of infection in India. Okay, so you're trying to find out for this program is particular geography or particular country is going to be right place. Second level of feasibility study is the study level. This is a very, very specific to particular study. Say for example, antibacterial study in the skin and soft tissue infection. And the study level feasibility studies are more customized toward assessing whether the particular clinical study can be conducted in that country or in that region. The third level of the feasibility study is the site or investigator feasibility study. This is also called as a micro feasibility. Basically, you are testing if a particular site, clinical site or hospital is going to be a right choice for this particular study. So far we have studied about what, how and when feasibility studies are conducted. Let us understand what are the key aspects of the site feasibility study. Site feasibility study में check क्या करते हैं? I think ये बहुत important है समझने के लिए. So certain things that I will explain you that will help you to understand what they check in the site feasibility. एक तो है site infrastructure and resource. Details we will see in the subsequent slide. Second is regulatory compliance. Third is patient recruitment and retention. Fourth is experience with similar trial. Fifth is site logistics. And sixth is budget and contracts. Seventh is data management and reporting. And finally, risk management. In the subsequent slide, we are going to study each in detail. So the first aspect is site infrastructure and resource. क्या देखेंगे इसमें? You will do a feasibility study about the facility. Does the site have the appropriate equipment to run the clinical trial? Do they have the required technology? Say for example, do they have labs, monitoring rooms, storage for the investigational product, etc. How about the staff? Does the site have experience and adequately staff that is trained, including investigator, coordinator, nurses, professionals to run the clinical trial? Third, you will see under site infrastructure resources is the patient care. Can the site handle the patient care according to the protocol requirement? Okay, the protocol will specify what kind of a care is required for your patient. This includes ensuring patients are monitored appropriately and follow-up visits are conducted as per schedule. So this is what we are going to see when we are going to see a site infrastructure and resources. Next important thing is regulatory compliance. Experience with regulatory authorities. Does your site have an experience working with the relevant regulatory authorities? Say for example, you are running a trial for EU. Has the site completed any trial that has been submitted to the EU country? Ethics approval. Site conducted trial requiring ethics committee or institutional review board approvals before. Adherence to GCP, that is, a site must comply with the GCP guideline to ensure the safety and rights of the trial participant is very much, adhere to that. So this is what you are going to check in the regulatory compliance. Next is patient recruitment and retention. So patient population. Does the site have access to required patient population for the study? If you are going to run the study for type 2 diabetes, does the site has the type 2 diabetes patient? This involves looking at factors such as demographic, disease, prevalence of the disease and patient database. Recruitment strategies. What are the strategies does a site use to recruit the patient? आपने trial दे दिया और patient नहीं आ रहे. This is what you have seen that how the studies fail. Then the retention capabilities. Can the site maintain a patient engagement and retention throughout the trial period? Say आपका trial period is running for 2 years. You want the patient to adhere or stick to the trial for a longer duration. Okay, so what is the strategy the site has to retain their patient? Next thing is experience with the similar trials. So what is the past performance? Has the site participated in the similar trial in the past? Review previous performance metrics such as patient recruitment rate, adherence to timelines, data quality. These are very, very critical which sponsor is going to check. And their therapeutic area expertise, site that has experience in the specific therapeutic area as a cited if they have the experience in diabetes, oncology, cardiology. Just to ensure that if such trials are performed in these sites, it is going to be succeeded. Next, very important is the site logistics. So geographical location of your site. Is this site location suitable for the trial, specifically considering the need of patient access to ease of monitoring for the sponsor or contract research organization? Are your patient able to reach your site easily, or CROs and CRAs are able to reach the site very easily? Transport and accessibility. Can the patient and trial staff access your site very easily? This is also a very, very important parameter when sponsors select the site. Next is budget and contracts. So does the site has the ability to manage the financial aspect of the study? Can the cost be aligned to the trial budget? They should not come and say we are exceeding the budget. So they should be able to estimate the cost well in advance and very, very good budget for that. How about the contract negotiation? How quickly can site finalize the contracts? You have a trial standing at the door and you're delaying the contracts will definitely impact your clinical trial. So site should be able to handle the contract efficiently without impacting the delay in the trial. The next is data management and reporting. So does the site has an ability or do they have an experience with respect to EDC system for the trial for data collection and reporting? This is very important. Timeline and quality of the data reporting. Site should be able to report data promptly and maintain high quality throughout the clinical trial. So site should have prior experience of data management and reporting. Last but not least is the risk assessment. So evaluating the potential risk associated with working with a particular site, such as likelihood of recruitment delay, staffing issues, protocol non-compliance or protocol compliance, helps in making an informed decision. So what are the possible risks that is associated with particular site? This is very, very important when we do a risk assessment. So these are certain factors which a sponsor company would like to assess in the site feasibility study. Now, I hope you understood what is site feasibility study, why it is so important. Now let us see what job it creates. Okay, so most of the company that I shown you on the one of the slide, this job is mainly done by the CRA. These are generally a pharmacy graduate like you and me. You can start your career working as a CRA. Of course, you required a very solid knowledge about good clinical practice, good documentation practice, a good communication practice. Okay, a good communication skill. You required a very good communication skill. I think you can join this as a CRA and work in these companies where you will be responsible for collecting of this data through the site feasibility questionnaire. Okay, and gather this information, compile this information, make the report out of it. Okay, and a lot of technology has come in this area where you can learn and definitely work as a excellent CRA in this area. So guys, that was all about site feasibility study. I tried my best to explain you. If you still have any question which is not clear to you, please put this in the comment and I'll be very, very happy to respond back to you. I hope you have learned something new which you have not studied in your pharmacy syllabus. Okay. Clinical operations is a very, very booming field. Definitely you can think of making your career in this field. If you like this video, do share this with all your friends in your college. Like and subscribe Farm Buddy and stay connected for future videos. Thank you so much for you.
Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something new today. You have query on career? Talk to Farm Buddy now.